Hello, and welcome to the Caden and Kel Car podcast. My name is Kel, or Markel.
My name is Caden, or Caden.
Today, we are going to be talking about our books we read for Miss Coulter's class. Kind of just going to give a summary of the book, and then we'll go from there. So, I'll go first. Whoa. Let me not forget to introduce our special guest, Peter. You can ask anybody who's been in my car. Yes, his name is Peter, but for the sake of today's episode, his name is going to be PETA. We understand.
Yeah,
Okay.
nice.
So, to give a little summary about my book, basically, not a little summary. We're going to give a summary about my book. My book is about this dystopian world of Panem. Panem is this country. It's divided up by districts. So, District 1 being like the richer districts, well off. District 12 being the poorer districts, broke, 9 to 5, coal miners, whatever. So our story follows our main characters, PETA and Katniss. Katniss, broke as broke can get. She had an absent mother, a lot of stuff to get in there, a lot of trauma there. And then PETA, more well off in the District 12. His dad is the baker, so,
He's making that bread.
He's making that bread, basically, for District 12. But, it's about the Hunger Games. So, the Hunger Games is basically this kind of televised event. Think of, like, Romans. Was it Romans who watched Colosseum?
Yep.
Think of Romans, Colosseum, watching people fight, poor people fight. I'd say Colosseum was poor people fighting. So, what do rich people want to do? Watch poor people fight. It's kind of a pastime. Basically, we get into our story. We get to the games. Before the games, there's some important people. There's Cinna, who is like PETA and Katniss is like dresser. He's making things interesting, making them look good for everything before, the interviews and all that. There is Haymitch and Elfie Trinket. Sorry, excuse me. Who are trying to find sponsors for Katniss and PETA. Sponsors can basically send them stuff while they're in the games to help out. Like medicine, food, water, things like that. Haymitch is drunk. Very drunk all the time. And Elfie is crazy. So they clash a lot. Leading up to the games, PETA and Katniss, they kind of get along. Katniss thinks PETA is a backstabbing, betraying POS, when he's not. He's really just scary and doesn't want to cause anything. So, from the start, Kat has had a lot of mistrust for PETA. PETA decides to train on his own rather than training with Katniss, so she's like, I don't trust you. And this is a common thing throughout the story where PETA will do one small thing and Katniss doesn't trust him. But, in the end of the story, I think they trust each other, I'd say. So a little bit before the games, on live television, during an interview, PETA confesses his love for Katniss. They were putting on a show, to say the least. Cinna, their outfit before the games made them on fire.
Literally.
And Katniss was deemed the girl who was on fire. Crazy, right? You set somebody on fire for them to die. Where was I at?
You're getting to the Hunger Games.
Getting to the games. We get into the games. Kat has another moment of distrust towards PETA and basically breaks off their friendship, relationship thing, whatever is going on there. Because before the game started, Haymitch's one advice was, don't go for the middle. Don't go for the cornucopia filled with stuff. You'll die. Katniss was like, I remember Haymitch saying this, but F Haymitch. I'm gonna do my own thing. And she's preparing, but she looks over at Peeta, and Peeta's like trying to mouse him, like, no, don't. Like trying to remind her, don't go for the cornucopia. And she starts a little late, but still tries to go for the cornucopia. And she blames her not getting her weapon, which was the bow. She's known for being able to use a bow. And is like, Peeta, it's your fault. I hate you now. We're done. And, this keeps going on for most of the story throughout the Hunger Games. Some of the main moments of the Hunger Games was when, first of all, Kat stayed out the way basically the whole time. Never had to fight anybody, whatever. So she was up in a tree, like she has been for most of the games, and a fireball comes out of nowhere. She just smells smoke, looks up, fireball, like it's Mario or something. And she gets like this bad scar on her leg, like a bad burn on her leg, I think like on her arm, maybe. And her hands, are kind of messed up too. And she was also kind of suffering from dehydration at this point. Didn't have any water, couldn't find any. So that was pretty rough. You're so good at hiding that you get a fireball sent at you. Fast forward a little bit, she's climbed another tree. By this point, she had found some water, to stay alive. She's in another tree, and she gets found by a group of tributes. And this group of tributes is like District 1, District 2, the strong people who are kind of picking off the smaller people. And they see her in the tree. No bueno. Okay. And who does she see in this group? Peeta. Further, I guess fueling her distrust for Peeta, and is like, he's joining these people, I don't trust him even more. So at a certain point, a certain chance comes up for Kat to escape, and she takes this chance and ends up killing 2 of the tributes. By this time they had split up, like gone off. Kat's on the floor because her trap had, how do you say that? Like kind of backfired a little. She was kind of out of it, woozy. And Peeta comes back. And instead of killing her, Peeta rushes her off and says, go, go, like leave. And saves her life, basically, like he did in the past. Not going to get into that right now, but this second time he saved her in her life. So she runs off, gets to safety, she's fine. Everything's fine. She uses the rest of her medicine that was sent by one of the sponsors that Haymitch got for her. And, she's okay for the time being. Eventually, she's thinking about it. She's like, Peeta saved me. I thought we weren't like a team or anymore, whatever. Yeah, so then we get towards the end of the games. This is where I kind of get mixed up between book and movie, for me personally. But the way I put it together, the end of the games, what happens is there's this battle between a career tribute, who is from District 1, I'm pretty sure, and Peeta and Kat. They end up sending these, like, dogs, I guess, after them. The dogs are surrounding this thing they're standing on. And speaking of dogs, these dogs are like, or these like monsters are surrounding them. And, one has to die, or 2 have to die, because there can only be one winner, right? Right. So we get to the end, and Kat and Peeta are fighting this guy. Mm-hmm. They get the upper hand on him, and they kill him. Peeta and Kat did not want to kill each other, so they had these berries and made a suicide pact, basically. And they were like, if I can't win, you can't win. Let's die together, basically. Further proving the love story between them that people think are going on.
How romantic.
Yeah. Romeo and Juliet. So they do that, but a helicopter comes in and saves them, so they both win the games. And what happens next? We don't know. They kind of ended on a interview kind of thing. Um, you know, people are confused. They're confused. And that's basically it. That's kind of how the first book ends. And I'm going to hand it off to you now.
Wow, that was a very interesting book.
Yeah.
But mine is even more interesting, if that's what you want to put it as. I have The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. And it's this sci-fi satirical novel with a whole bunch of like goofy stuff in it. But in my opinion, it was actually a really good read. So it starts off with this average Joe everyman named Arthur Dent. And there's this construction company that basically kicks him out of his house because they want to bulldoze it and build a highway over it. So Arthur is like, well, okay. And he goes to the pub to get a drink. And then this weird, like, odd, crazy guy named Ford Prefect, who is like Arthur's only friend. And he comes in and he's rambling on about how there's aliens and that the Earth is gonna blow up and everyone's gonna die. And Arthur's like, yeah, okay, whatever you say. And they go back to his house, and out of nowhere, alien like spaceships, an entire fleet, show up in the atmosphere, and Arthur and everybody on Arthur are like, what the hell is going on? And just freaking out. And then out of nowhere, both Arthur and Ford are like beamed up into the mothership, basically. And
He's about to get probed.
Oh, more than just probed. And they just, watch from outside as Earth just blows up. Like, Earth is gone. Everybody's dead. Arthur is like the last human alive. He is the last human alive. And so, he's freaking out and stuff like, oh my God. And Ford then just casually drops that he's actually an alien, that he was just this alien spy. And he has this book called The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Okay.
And it's just a book full of like tips and like bunch of like random nonsense that would help you out in the galaxy. And well, the aliens that actually destroyed Earth, they're called Vogons, and they're like stupid. Like, that is their entire, like, they are just like your typical stupid fat aliens that don't know what they're doing and stuff like that. And they're threatening to kill Arthur and Ford and stuff like that. And the way that they defeat them is by jazz.
Why?
I don't know why. I guess
jazz is just so
it
good
was in the
that
it was in the
kills.
it was in the guide, so obviously, and it was true, they did not like the jazz. And it's also revealed that the reason why Earth was destroyed is because they wanted to build an intergalactic highway.
Like they wanted to build a highway on Earth.
Exactly. So it's kind of like, same side of the two sides of the same coin. But anywho, they escape and they get picked up by this random spaceship called the Heart of Gold. And they meet the crew on the ship, and there's this guy named Zaphod Beeblebrox. That is his name. I am not joking. And he is
Strong name.
Yep. And he's like a two-headed, three-armed former president of the galaxy alien guy. And he's like super like eccentric and egotistical. Like, all he really cares about himself and stuff like that. But in actuality, he means very well. And yeah. Then there's this another character named Trillian, who's a human. She's an actual like human. So there's like two humans left now, her and Arthur. And Arthur actually knew her vaguely.
Kind
Uh,
of like PETA and
PETA and Katniss, they knew one another, but they didn't really know one another.
right.
Yeah. And then they meet the best character in the entire book, my absolute favorite, Marvin the paranoid android, who's just this depressed little robot who is always talking about how he's miserable and wants to die.
So like a depressed R2D2.
Yeah, if R2D2 didn't take his antidepressants. And yeah, so he's awesome. But then they find out that the Heart of Gold is actually stolen. It's a stolen spaceship by Zaphod, so they're basically got picked up by a bunch of crooks and they're on the run. And the
like Cowboy Bebop.
And the reason why that they're being chased for the spaceship is like the Heart of Gold is the only spaceship in like the entire galaxy that has like this infinite improbability drive, which allows them to like jump like really far. So it's just a souped up spaceship basically. And they go like Zaphod's like real plan is to go to this mythical planet called Magarathia. I don't know how it's pronounced. A bunch of weird names in this book. But it's like this mythical planet, and like there's this guy named Slarda Bartfast, and he's like this old planet designer, and they go there and they talk to him and meet him, and he actually tells him that Earth was like a supercomputer, like its own like supercomputer, and there's like these interdimensional god beings called the mice, and they set out to find out the question of life, like why do we exist, what is it. And there was another supercomputer called Deep Thought, which was also trying to find out what the meaning of life was, but it took them 7.5 million years to figure it out. And you know, everyone is awaiting this, like this is like the day. And Deep Thought then reveals that the answer that they calculated was 42. The answer of life is the number 42.
My God, how profound.
Mind-blowing.
What's 42?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so a lot of people were very disappointed with that. So the mice then made the organic supercomputer that is planet Earth to figure it out. And it would have taken 10 million years to figure it out. And literally right before it was about to figure out, it got destroyed by the Vogons. So, you know, sucks for them and everybody. And the mice then show up out of practically nowhere. And they actually tell Arthur that the question of life, they believe, is like the answer is in his brain, in his mind. And they basically strap him down and try to dissect his brain to take it for themselves. But thank God for plot armor, because Marfin tells everyone that the space cops have arrived, and they then make their escape, and you know, they go to lunch. They go to lunch, and yeah, that's the end of the story.
What?
That's how it ends. That's literally how it ends. They escape from the space cops, and they're like, oh man, you know, we're actually really cool, and you know, I like you guys, so let's stick together and let's go get lunch.
Huh.
And then that's how the story ends.
What? Okay.
It's quite the story.
It sounds like a roller coaster.
Oh, for sure. But I enjoyed it a lot because I really like sci-fi, and I think the satire was pretty funny. And, you know, you gotta love saying Zaphod Beeblebrox and Slarda Bartfast for like...
Slarda Bartfast. Say that 5 times.
Slarda Bart, yeah. But, yeah, anywho, I would give the book a solid like 8 out of 10. And, yeah, I would recommend it to anybody.
I would give my book a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 for the book and the movie adaptation. I'd say at least the first one. I haven't watched the second one or read the second one or the third one. So, but for this book, yes, I would say it's a 10 out of 10. It's a classic. This is the point where I think we end our book report. Miss Coulter, if you would like to continue watching, you're welcome to. But it is 20 minutes long. And it's a very long video. So if you'd like to continue watching, you're welcome to. But we're just going to kind of keep rambling about our books, I guess. And just kind of ask questions because we're bored. So, and we're going to post this, I guess, now. Well, I'm going to post this. You know, raw footage. Caden and Kel car podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going to ramble on for a little bit longer. You're welcome to watch, but you have a lot to watch. So if you don't, fine. But anyways, so what was like your favorite part of the book?
My favorite part.
Was it the R2 depressed 2?
Definitely, yes. R2 depressed 2 is definitely my favorite. He is my favorite part of the book. I also think 42 is my favorite because it's.
Well, I'm trying to think.
It's
like
so
42.
stupid.
Isn't 42 like Jackie Robinson's number or something?
Yeah. Yeah. No, 42 is Jackie Robinson's number.
And
yeah,
Jackie Robinson is the meaning of life.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Baseball, baby.
42. Like, that doesn't even make sense. But it sounds pretty funny, though. Anyways.
Anywho, wow, that lasted really long.
Well, I'm trying to think, because would you say it's like an allegorical book?
Kinda. I mean, I don't really know what the allegory would be for, you know,
Oh yeah, that part's getting cut out.
These names, but I think it's definitely satire, but I think it might be an allegory for like, yeah, oppressive control or something like that. I don't know. It's just a bunch of random nonsense thrown in a book, but it just works, really. So
yeah. Okay.
Anywho, but you know, I think that's all the time we have left, and
I think I'll edit out that ending.
Yeah.
Where we say Miss Coulter, keep watching.
No.
Just gonna cut that out, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But
call it a day. But thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah, you know, I'm not cutting any of this out actually, but you know, yeah, this is our first video going up. Probably our last.
Probably.
We'll see. But I hope you enjoyed us talking about our books.
Mm-hmm. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. You know, we're gonna be millionaires off of this.
Mm-hmm.
This is real raw footage right here. You know, we're not cutting any of this
Straight
out.
entertainment.
Doesn't matter how many times I said I'm gonna cut it out, okay? Not cutting it out. But yeah. So we're gonna go back to what we were doing. I don't know what he was doing, but I was playing Restaurant Tycoon on Roblox. So I know what I'm doing after this. But yes, I read The Hunger Games. It's a great book.
I read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Also a great book.
So, good night.
Good night.